Hello and welcome to Ready Bet Action. We are coming at you on a Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. I don't know if people see this on a Friday, but we're recording this on a Friday. So hopefully we get this out tonight because we got some soccer picks for the weekend that have to do with Saturday and probably early wake-up calls for a lot of people who want to bet and watch games on August 31st through September 2nd. Happy Labor Day weekend. Y'all have any big Labor Day plans before we jump in? I have zero.
Absolutely not. Play a lot of CFB 2025.
Yeah.
That will be happening. A lot of soccer watching, a hell of a lot of college football watching. I do have to go to a housewarming party, which will be very, very fun, but they're not really the type to have the game on in the background, so I'm not sure what I'll do there.
That's when you just go turn it on, dude.
About that.
But
just go turn it on.
Yeah, I have a tendency to just turn things on, if you know what I mean. But no, I'm excited. It's going to be great. We got some paddle boarding on the books for Sunday.
Nice.
I threw my back out earlier this week, so we'll see how that goes. Perfect. Getting old is great.
Yeah, this is a very 40-year-old conversation we're having.
Let's go. Paddle boarding and soccer. So
speaking of stiff things, let's move into the English Premier League.
Hey,
and we can start talking and giving these picks and dive in right away. I think you're kicking us off, Stefan, with most of the picks. Although Mike and I are starting to get our feet wet, warming up to this soccer season, getting some picks in there with you this week.
Yeah, which is impressive given the fact that like college football just started. Both your teams coming off of wins. Both of you guys have been to a game already this season, so very good. Well, Mike and I were talking about Fulham last week on this show, and I said, Mike, there's a few teams that I feel real good about that I'm ahead of the market on. Fulham being one of them. We're going to mention a couple others tonight as well. So Fulham are on the road, which is never great in soccer, but they're playing Ipswich Town, which you're probably thinking, who's Ipswich Town? Exactly my point. They promoted last year. This is their first time in the Prem in a very long time. So Fulham, meanwhile, has improved their squad. They've brought in talent like Emile Smith-Rowe, who had a goal over the weekend. I think they keep it going here. You're going to get Fulham at plus value here at 130. I just love this pick way too much to pass up. My other favorite thing to do, if you're looking just for a way to up a bet that you have, take Fulham on the double chance and add it as a parlay, because there's no way in hell they lose, and you get that double chance at like minus 250, which is a really, really nice parlay booster. Parlay booster.
Very nice. All I know about Ipswich, they are Ed Sheeran's team. Ipswich, and he was so jazzed about it. Ipswich is Ed Sheeran is like their most famous supporter. So that's all I know about them, though, and that they're probably getting relegated again. That's it. Yeah. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's a great fact.
So,
yep,
I like that a lot, but they're probably not the worst team in the Prem. The worst team in the Prem is Leicester City, in my opinion. And yes, they did score against Tottenham and hold them to a draw, which was incredible. Mike and I talked about that last week.
Jamie Vardy pointing to the patch was so great, though.
I loved it. That's why I have
so great.
I mean, anyone who can troll Tottenham like that is A-okay in my book for a moment. I still hate Jamie Vardy. But Aston Villa is another team that I think is being undervalued here because A, they're on the road, but B, they lost last week 2-0 to Arsenal. But they were in that game and really should have opened up the scoring. Ollie Watkins had some incredible chances. So you could get Aston Villa on the money line at minus 135. Again, that's just great value to me. A lot of times, I like to add in the over 1.5 goals or the under 3.5 goals. I could see Aston Villa winning this a hell of a lot of different ways. I could see a 1-0. I could see a 4-2. I could see all I know, the one part I'm comfortable with is that Villa walk away victors in this clash.
Love it. I think when you're getting some of these lines in soccer on the money line, and even if they're like, as long as they're like under 200, and sometimes it's just the better team, and it just feels like such an easy, good pick to make. Like compared to other sports, it feels more obvious to me. Anyways, that's my take on it. You're more likely to get like a line under 200 in a soccer game for the better team if they're like on the road or something. But
right, and
that's my thoughts on it.
And because there's not really like you don't usually. I mean, you could do like the Asian spread or whatever. Like usually though, you do like the money line. and there's like win, draw, or loss. So there's 3 options. Whereas with like basketball, there's so many different variables because you're betting the spread. So I think with that limited number of, you only have 3 outcomes, it really can give you the opportunity to find some really, really good value, especially early on in the season when I think you can jump ahead of the books or books overreact. So yeah, tons of fun. Mikey, this next one's over to you. You have a play in this West Ham hosting Manchester City. Manchester City has looked freaking awesome, but West Ham is super, super fun too. So I put the one on the screen is actually my bet, but why don't you give us your bet? Because it's kind of similar to this one.
Yeah, totally. So Man City and over 2.5 total goals is a little parlay. I'm throwing this on at -135. Man City's coming in with 2 wins so far. They fell behind early against Ipswich, which was surprising, but ended up taking them down 4-1. And then took down Chelsea 2-0. Erling Haaland is coming in great form. He's one of the few stars that didn't do anything over the summer. He didn't play the Euros. He didn't play the Copa. Didn't play the Olympics. So coming in fresh legs and is currently leading the Premier League in expected goals for the season. So I think that rolls, man. I think it just continues to go. These last 4 matches between these 2 teams, Man City has won. And the last 2 has been a 3-1, which would have covered this easily. So I think that happens again. I'm with you. I think West Ham is exciting and entertaining. I don't think it's enough to get the win, and I think they're both good enough to score a lot of points. I like a 3-1 here. That's me.
I love it. So because Man City to win is at like -300 if you take it on its own, I didn't even really consider it when looking at this game. The thing I really liked is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, because Manchester City, when they play a team like West Ham who wants to engage and play attacking football, they will do just that. And you'll see them put 4 goals past someone. And yeah, they might give up a goal to Ipswich, or they might give up a goal to West Ham. And that's exactly what I expect. So I was on West Ham and both teams to score because I think Man City gets more than 1 at -115. But to your point, Man City is going to win this game. You add that, you get it at +140. I'm not a huge fan of 3 different elements to a bet having to work, but Man City, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at +140.
Love it.
Very, very fun.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's fun. It's fun at the very least. It's very, very fun. I'm very curious about Haaland's career because, like, I'm not saying he's like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but he is like because he comes out of a country that's very rarely like on a world stage and being competitive in those areas. Like, he could have a very long club career like Zlatan had, being able to be really good for a very long time, because Zlatan, like, you saw him play for Sweden on occasion, but they were never in the World Cup or in these like European tournaments. So it'll be guys like that will like always, like, the club is kind of their focus, and will probably have a very long, fruitful club career.
The only thing I would say is now that tournaments have expanded and they let like everybody in.
That's true.
I imagine Norway will qualify for Euros more frequently in the future, but I mean, it's no given. Eric, you have a play in this next game, and I am in full support of it. We got Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, so this is a bet for Chelsea, which you'll rarely hear us say on this show, because I think all last year we were just shitting on Chelsea for like an entire season, was just how terrible they are. Chelsea looked great. They came out hot. They had an 8-goal affair against Wolves last week. So they scored 6. Wolves scored 2. Madueke. Did I get it right?
Nailed it.
Madueke had a hat trick. And then obviously there were 3 other goals. So give me the real hot home team here, just exploding into the season. Maybe Chelsea has found something offensively. So give me Chelsea on the money line and over 1.5 goals against Palace, which is more of a mid to lower table team this year. Palace probably isn't getting relegated or anything like that. I don't think so anyways. And then, Chelsea, though, is definitely the better team at home. A nice little London derby, though, we got going here for this weekend. I love it. There's like a million teams in London, so every weekend's a London derby. But, I still like saying derby, even though it's spelled with an E.
Yeah. I like this bet, too. Chelsea's come out looking really, really good. At least going forward and scoring goals. Crystal Palace has been pretty disappointing. I think the loss of Elise to Bayern Munich really has impacted them. And I love Eze. I mean, he was great for England. He scored an amazing free kick last week that got called back because of some terrible refereeing. The referee even apologized about it on the spot. So they have talent, but I don't think it's enough to hang with Chelsea right now. They're very hot right now.
So hot right now.
Chelsea is Hansel. We need a Hansel section for the podcast. You know?
We do need like a so hot right now. Yeah, we do. That'd be a great clip.
All right. We're going to head to the Bundesliga next. We have talked about both of these teams for various reasons throughout the Ready Bet Action career or whatever. RB Leipzig, one of my favorite teams because they are so attack focused. They love to play that kind of football. And they have my favorite player in the world in Xavi Simons. Leverkusen just won the Bundesliga, even though Harry Kane showed up. Maybe because Harry Kane showed up for Bayern.
Yeah, I was saying.
But Leverkusen, I mean, they did it again over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw. They were up comfortably. They were up, and then all of a sudden it was 2-2, and extra time comes in, and then they do it again in like the 98th minute, like 8th minute of stoppage time. They score a winner, get all 3 points. So they love to play attacking, exciting football. So my bet for this one, I think both teams to score in over 2.5. Last year in the two matches, both home and away, Leverkusen won 3-2. So we've had 10 goals in 2 games. Like, I think we're going to easily hit this. But I do think Leipzig could pull out an exciting draw, like a 2-2 draw. So I don't want to bet Leverkusen to win. So anyway, that's my play on this one.
I like that
in the
play,
Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a huge matchup. These are both Champions League teams. Xavi Simons coming back again. Yes, Leipzig did just lose Dani Olmo to Barcelona, but they have tons of talent. So this will be a really fun game to watch. Like, super fun, exciting game during college football. Like, there's so many timeouts in college football. So you just have them on the dual screen, and you can still watch most of the soccer game. So highly recommend. This next game will not be near as exciting from a goal output. We're talking about Juventus versus Roma. So Juventus have a new coach, Diego Motta. Yes, that one. Thiago Motta, who played for Italy. He was the coach at Bologna last season, who made it to the Champions League. And so now he's over at Juventus. And what he loves to do is he loves to go and play some defensive Italian football. And you take advantage of your 1, 2, 3 chances, and you walk away with a clean sheet and a victory. That's how he likes to play. Roma, with Totti, they want to attack. They want to play aggressive, but they have not been playing well. They've lost some star players. Lukaku is no longer there. Their star striker is who they pulled over from Girona. My Girona. That one.
Girona.
Yeah, that one. So they grabbed their top scorer. He was the top scorer in La Liga last year, but he's new to Serie A. He's the Ukrainian. He didn't really perform at the Euros like people hoped. So anyway, my bet here is we're going to take Juventus on the money line in over 1.5 goals. They've won their last 2 matches 3-0, 3-0. I think the probable outcome of this one is Juventus to win 2-0. But we're gonna. I was struggling on going Juventus and under 3.5 or Juventus and over 1.5. So I kind of went with this one because the value was a little bit better, and I would hate like a 3-1 or something like that, and that 3.5 not hit.
Yeah, love the plus money. But it sounds like you really don't hate the under, though. Excuse me.
So, yeah, we both coughed at the same time.
Man, I know. I'm not even sick. Man, I'm doing struggling.
This last pick, I made the most ugly slide I could because that's how excited
that is pretty bad.
That's
pretty bad.
So excited to introduce for the first time in not only Ready Bet Action history, but probably the history of all podcasting and YouTubing, we're doing our football crossover parlay. So we're taking
football.
We're taking 2 football teams and parlaying them for a can't lose, must win. Like, So actually, I wrote it on the slide wrong. It's Fulham on the double chance. So Fulham to either tie or win versus Ipswich, and James Madison to win versus Charlotte, who are out like 9 starters.
Nice.
Yes, James Madison has a new coaching staff. A lot of people were lost to the transfer portal. They're going to smash Charlotte. That line moved from -6.5 to -9. So feel very
Nice.
good about this. So now what you're going to want to do is go out and bet Charlotte Ipswich on a parlay at 600 and take it home.
Dude, the money on a Charlotte Ipswich parlay would be insane. Absolutely insane.
So yeah, there's my football crossover parlay of the week.
That is
Is
great.
this a new weekly thing we're doing now?
Hell yes.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Football crossover. All right. Well, everyone, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X, and wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all of them. Hit the subscribe, like, all of the good things for us on those. This is the part of the show where we run down our soccer picks. Stefan, why don't you get us going?
Okay, so we are going to take Fulham on the money line at +130. We're going to take Aston Villa on the money line at -135 against Leicester. We're going to take West Ham and Man City, both teams to score over 2.5 goals, and Man City on the money line at +40. Mike, Scott?
Man City on the money line and over 2.5 total goals at -135.
Eric?
Yeah, I got Chelsea, I got Chelsea money line plus over 1.5 goals in the game against Crystal Palace.
And then in the Bundesliga, we're going to go with the Bayern Leverkusen, RB Leipzig, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at -145. Our final only soccer play is the Juventus money line and over 1.5 versus Roma. And then our football crossover parlay, we're going Fulham on the double chance with James Madison on the money line at -132.
And that's it, everybody. Those are your soccer picks. Go check out our college football episode for all of our college football picks. Next week's going to be big with the NFL back. Going to have so much for you next week. We will talk to y'all later.
Bye.